Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with the final installment for Married to Medicine this season, season 9 reunion part 3. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we don't get into it. When the episode first opens up, the men are still on stage. Andy is revisiting the moving costume. Dr. Kieran said they were just trying to trivialize it. Like, make light of it. So Cecil said, he thought it was funny, but after hearing Eugene be upset, he understood why he was upset. Now, looking back, because at first I was like, Eugene, get over it. Okay, you and Toya got stuff to say about everybody, and I mean, the facts are the facts. But if I was in a core friend group, and you made a joke out of me moving, I can understand thinking back, because if everybody in the world, is already talking about it, it becomes annoying and offensive because you're a part of my friend group. It's like you're laughing at me instead of with me. So then I'm pissed. So I kind of understood it after looking at it from that perspective. But Dr. Kieran was like, I said what I said and I ain't changing it. So Eugene said, he had issues when Dr. Kieran wouldn't pull back. He's like, as a friend, I said something to you and you still wouldn't pull back. That's because Dr. K ain't really our friend, honey. He was inserted here because of Anila and her blogging. He really wouldn't hang out with y'all any other day. And that's just real. So Curtis brings up things that Eugene has said in the past. So Eugene was like, but I didn't rent something to make fun of you. Curtis, you sit back, okay? Because he was like, there's no difference. Pipe down, sir. Okay, you cheated. You were walking through that airport for the world to see. He was right about you, though. I mean, I know two wrongs don't make a right, and a right don't make a left, and a left don't make a circle, honey. I don't know, but you did put your ball in the wrong basket. Okay, that was not your wife. That wasn't now paging Dr. Jackie. That wasn't Dr. Jackie. That wasn't Dr. Jackie, honey, so I don't care what you're talking about. So Andy brings up Toya being lonely, and Eugene takes responsibility for it because, he was focusing on saving the world because, the world was falling the hell apart. He was in the ER. He was running 2 ERs, okay? Not 1, but 2. And that was at the height of the world being sick. It was uncertainty. The doctors had never seen anything like this before. People were in refrigerated trucks. I mean, it was just too much. I mean, bodies were just wherever bodies could be. So I understand that, consuming him, because if it consumed little old me, I could only imagine being an ER doctor. So he had a lot on his shoulders. But anyway, he said he's trying now to be more available and more vulnerable. So then one viewer asked about the P shot, and it's supposed to be a shot to make them longer and stronger. Getting the peen sitting upright. Child, not the P shot. It should be called the D shot. Because I think we should have the P shot. Because what we call ours is the P shot. But I think they should have the D shot. Not the semantics of the name, though. Child, I don't be having nothing else to do. Do y'all hear me? Moving forward. Child, Toya take whatever shot Eugene can get, okay? Even if it's a shot of liquor. So Scott brings up the shot going into the penis. And, Eugene was saying that he's given shots. And he wouldn't advise it, but not those types of shots. So Curtis is looking like, yeah, I'm good on that. Cecil looking like, yeah, I'm good, honey. Been good for 20 years plus. So the only shot I'm taking is the one at that bar in that basement. Honey, I know that's real. So then Andy asked about the MD, Mr. Scott himself, and some of these lyrics that he has in this little song that he created. It's alluding to the fact that he cheated. So Scott said, he engaged in the DMs because people were sending him DMs and he shouldn't have, but he did. And, he regrets that. Child, please don't tell us nothing. Okay, don't tell us nothing because we already know Contessa gonna say that Heavenly is using this for a soundbite. The people are against you. And so just keep whatever you were doing in them DMs to yourself. Please, Lord. Child, then Scott gets up and gives us karaoke realness. Sir, have a seat. Have a seat. I don't never want to see you on anybody's playlist, honey. One thing Bravo gonna do if they don't do nothing else, they gonna allow you to sing a song. When I saw Scott get up there, I love you, girl. You from around the world. You got curls. I call you my girl. If you don't sit down, LL Fool J, y'all ain't got time to play with you. Moving forward. Scott, side note, please do not quit your day job. So the ladies are back on stage and we are revisiting Cecil and Simone and their book and the other couples and their time on the show. So Andy asked, who has the longest leash? That's what he asked Cecil. He said Curtis. He feels like Curtis has the longest leash. Dr. Kieran raised his hand for the shortest leash. Now, if I had to pick, it's definitely Curtis. That was the problem then, honey. Had the longest leash, okay? The dog got loose. Now, if I had to say the shortest, I would say Eugene. Now, I know Cecil didn't say Eugene because, he already going through so much. But if we really want to be real, we all know Eugene has the shortest leash. So Andy brings up the fact that they had the couples event where the lady came and talked to them about non-traditional relationships, open marriages, open relationships, multiple partners. What did she say? Onesomes, twosomes, threesomes, foursomes, and moresomes. Honey, just everybody flip-flopping in and out the bed, y'all. So Andy was asking the men if they were okay with the non-traditional, relationship. And Scott said, as for me, no, because too many beautiful women are attracted to Contessa. And she was like, men are attracted to me as well. Honey, you better say women because Tessa ready to risk it all. Do you hear me? She be ready to risk it all. And we know Curtis is down with it. But y'all already know he gonna lie because Dr. Jackie's sitting right there. So Heaven is like, no, I'm not down with sharing my man with no bit. Andy said, oh, she's a B. She said, absolutely, she's a B. I know that's real. So he asked Cecil if Simone is asking him what he likes in the bed now. He said, absolutely not. I figured. So then Andy asked what the men didn't know about their wives when they got married. Because remember, Toya said she didn't know that the men's peen doesn't get any bigger. So Eugene said that her mouth would never close. Child, that's all you got? See, that's why she be doing you like she do, honey. So Andy asked what he thought about Toya dissing his manhood. She was like, I didn't diss his manhood. Andy said, well, you did not diss his manhood. Girl, you dissed him. Okay? You dissed him. So she's trying to explain it. Toya, just leave it alone, honey, because you definitely berated your husband for the world to see. Just quit while you're ahead. Either way, you said it and it was embarrassing. She's like, I didn't say that Eugene's penis was small. I just said when it just doesn't, okay, it's not getting big. Like, not his is not getting big. It doesn't grow. Girl, just be quiet. Okay? She was like, I was just saying that the sex doesn't change. It's lame. Oh, my gosh, honey. Oh, my goodness. Contessa was like, she means predictable. It's predictable. Oh, child, this is a fool. So she said when she saw it back, she went and she apologized to Eugene. So Andy asked Cecil, what's the 3 things that you would not want to hear from your wife? He said, number 1, that you need to get a job and you can't provide, or you ain't got no job and you're not providing for the family. Which we know Simone said that about Cecil. Remember when Cecil switched careers around season, I think 4, and that's when Heavenly and him were fussing online? Child, I ain't gonna never forget it. So anyway, he also said they never want to hear your sex is whack or your penis isn't getting any bigger. Here go Quad. And Toya did 2 out of the 3. Quad, girl, just hold on. Oh my God. Quad, he didn't ask you, okay? You have been a part of every single segment. He did not ask you. So Andy reads some Twitter comments and he asked Eugene to brace himself. So he reads it. And he said, Quad, you responded to a tweet that said Eugene will laugh it off to save face, but it hurts inside. So Toya said that's exactly what he did. Okay, Toya, so if you know that, why don't you try filtering what you say about your husband? Why not do that? So Quad said, well, I feel like any person, would feel some type of way, they would be hurt because that's his manhood. But he's always supporting Toya and cleaning up for her. He gonna be right there on aisle 5 with the mop and the pine soil. I said, baby, not pine soil, pine sol. Baby, not the pine soil. Oh, child. I know we get Quad a lot, but y'all might not agree with me. But in this instance, she's correct. I do feel like Eugene holds it in and he just smiles and nods, but it hurts him. And even Toya agreed, but it ain't for you to say. But we always talking. But I feel like that's right. Eugene will sit on Twitter every single Sunday and fight back and forth and back inside them comments, letting people know to back up off Toya. But you need to be letting Toya know to stop hurting you. Toya just admitted she knew that he was hurt. However, as her husband, it's his job to stick beside her. That's his wife. Like, if mine ain't standing up for me, honey, I don't want it. Because I be damned if you not going to fight for me. Now, I'm also going to respect you, and I'm not going to tell the world that your penis doesn't get any larger. But at the same damn time, you need to have my back. It might be different in the house, outside of the house. I don't know. We will never know because it's not our business. But I'm not going to put this all on Quad because Toya does degrade Eugene. She does. So Eugene was like, yeah, but Quad's jokes are worse than anything Toya has ever said. So her calling you Eugina is worse than Toya saying your penis is small and your sex is awful. That's worse. She was like, no, I said it. He said, yeah, I know. She said, and I meant it. He said, yeah. She said, I meant what I said. This is where I got to insert Nene and Candy. I said what I said. Yeah, well, what you said was some bullshit. What you want to do about it? Oh, honey. Baby, you got Quad and Eugene fight like Nene and Candy. That's a whole fool. He's like, yeah, she's always in our marriage. She said, y'all call yourself shaming me. So he said, when did we shame you? So Quad brings up the basket and them saying that she needed a Snuggie because she cold and lonely in that big house. Well, I mean, this season, y'all did start it. Y'all started it. Toya said, yeah, but then you went on social media and called my husband a B and you called him Eugenia. She said, I said Eugina. She said, okay, you might as well said Eugenia. You might as well have called him that. Well, Toya, let's not forget, Contessa called Eugene a big ass bitch. Okay, she called him a BAB. Don't forget that. And y'all didn't give her all this smoke. And she's sitting right beside you and y'all made up. Okay, she actually disrespected your husband to his face. He was present when Contessa was saying these things. So I'm just looking at it from the perspective of if it's good for one, then it should be good for the other because all y'all do the exact same thing. So Quad said, girl, I called him Eugina. Girl, not you correcting it. Anywho, he said, what you got against us? She said nothing. He said, well, quit talking about us. Eugene, I hope you got that same venom for Toya. Y'all don't need to be fussing back and forth. There's no reason for the two of you to argue. Toya owes you the respect. Quad, as Toya being someone in your circle, friend or foe, you need to respect her husband. And Eugene, I feel like this is misplaced anger because you sitting up here nuck if you buck with Quad, but the entire world is looking at you sideways because of things that your wife has said. And you're a very sweet guy, very nice. You take care of your family. And I just don't understand why you're letting Quad get you out of character. Like, this don't make no sense. So Andy said, Quad, well, you said, she go, I know exactly what I said. Andy said, I know, you wrote it. I'm just trying to tell the audience. Here go Quad. Well, tell the people. Quad, you gotta go. Quad, you gotta go, honey. Because it's like that third wheel type thing happening. Now, don't get me wrong. She had a little bit of zhuzh, honey. So it's gonna give kiki if it don't get nothing else. But sometimes it get ignorant. But if we just look at the stage, it's like a whole bunch of married couples and then Quad. And, you know, I understood when they brought her back as friend of, and I felt like she should have had a bigger role. But then this season, she came in too hot. Quad, just fall back, honey. Child, Andy probably scared as hell of Quad. You hear me? You might as well let Quad co-host. She take over every single year. So after he reads it, Eugene said, don't worry about it. This Quad is miserable. Toya said, yeah, and I actually told her, don't talk to him. Don't talk to my husband. Talk to me. Well, Toya, Eugene does pipe up and interject himself. So you need to be telling your husband, don't speak directly to Quad. I'll handle Quad. Okay? Don't talk to her. So Toya is like, go get you a man that will be able to talk to Eugene. Quad said, you really think I can't get a man, Toya? She said, well, you ain't got one yet. So go get one. I'm like, you know what? That's like the lamest thing. That really upsets me when people do that. Having a man is not the end all be all. Okay. And it's like people use that to shoot darts. Like, you ain't got no man. That's why you ain't got no man. Baby, majority of the time, the people with the men are in such strife and disarray, honey, they can't think straight. So I'd rather be single and at peace than to be in a relationship and in pieces. I'm just saying. Moving forward. Toya, I would ride with you on that, but Eugene is the only husband that is always in women's business. the only husband. I think both he and Quad are wrong. And you, Toya. Y'all don't get to shame her for having no man, then get upset when she defends herself against the man that is talking directly to her. Eugene shouldn't even engage Quad. Period. Don't even say anything to her because you already know she's not going to back down. So just don't talk to her. So then we talked to Damon and they wanted to know what he meant about the women's issues being BS. He said because if he says something, he says it to their face. And he said, like with the men, we hash it out, we get over it. But with the women, they just keep on going on and on about the same thing. So Toya said, well, what if they do it again? Like, what if you ask them to stop and they do it again? Honey, basically, what about your wife? Why she always acting like that? What about your wife? That's what she wanted to say. He said, well, then you need to evaluate it. But don't argue with women. Eugene, take notes, honey. He said, and if he said anything to offend Contessa, he apologizes for that. So Contessa was like, well, what prevented you from having a dinner with all four of us? You and Heavenly prevented y'all from having a dinner with all four of y'all. Every time you two heifers get together, y'all don't do nothing but fuss and fight and talk real loud. So there's no reason to get you together. He said, I was dealing with some personal things. She said, yeah, me too. It's not a competition, Contessa. It's not. He said, I'm happy to do it, but I don't do things that are fake. Honey, I know that's right. So Contessa goes, well, I mean, you had ample time to bring us together. Ma'am, this issue is between you and Heavenly. If he did bring y'all together, you and Heavenly would find a way to fuss. So what is he trying to do that he's not going to be able to accomplish? She's like, well, I mean, you have my number. He said, man, come on. I can't call you like that, Contessa. Contessa, it's about respect. Okay? You have been around long enough to know that Dr. Damon will not be calling you on your cellular phone. You already know that. She was like, no, I don't disagree with you. But I mean, if you wanted to find a real resolution, so Heavenly pipes up and she's like, I called you and I texted you several times and you did not respond. Child, she skipped right on past that part. So then eventually she was like, yeah, you did. Contessa, well, do you want to make it better or not? And who fusses with Dr. Damon? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Dr. Damon is the most laid back of the men. I don't know, because Cecil is almost sedated, so. But Cecil will get in there and fuss with you. Let me word it this way. Dr. Damon is not going to engage a woman with the fusserization. It's just not going to happen. Okay? It's just not. Moving forward. So then Heavenly brings up that Contessa will say they good and, you know, everything's all good. And then she went to Quad and talked ish about her. So Contessa said, that's not true. Quad said, okay, well, let's talk about this. She said, yes, let's talk about it. So Dr. Kieran interjects and he goes, wait a minute. I think we were asking Damon a question. How about we let him talk? I know that's right, Dr. Kieran, honey, because we were not talking to you, Quad, or you. Like right now we're talking to Dr. Damon. So they stayed fussing back and forth or whatever. And Dr. Damon was like, see, this is why nobody hears what he says, because they never let him speak. He's not about to be yelling and trying to fuss and fight over everybody. If you won't let him speak, then he won't say anything. He said, I'm always going to be me. I'm going to talk slow. I'm going to respect the women. Contessa getting ready to argue again. Contessa, you just looking for a fight. He said he's been distant because they always talk over him. So it's making him feel like they don't really want to hear what he has to say. So then Quad asks Heavenly, what did I say? So Heavenly reminds her after the ambush that Quad told her that Contessa was talking about her. So Quad repeats what Contessa said about the intervention in Heavenly's YouTube. Quad goes, yeah, I did say that. So what else you got? What else do you have? And Heavenly said, okay, well, after the testing, after that whole thing, Quad told me, Contessa, that y'all sat in the car and you told her everything that I have ever said about her. And most of it was taken out of context. So Contessa was like what? She said, I don't know. Ask Quad. Contessa said, Quad, here go Quad. I'm on my way. I'm going 80 and a 60 in a 60. Cause I ain't had that in a minute. Ooh, I'm on the way. Hey, child, not I'm on the way. Ooh, I am done. I'm gonna start using that when people start interjecting me in mess. Don't worry, I'm on my way. Don't worry about it. Quad tells Heavenly about the contractor rumor and said that Heavenly was the one who initiated it. And Heavenly is like, no, I did not initiate that rumor. Contessa was like, we saw it on the TV. Heavenly's like, I did not initiate the rumor. Andy is frustrated, so he wants to move forward, child. So then Scott pipes up and he was like, I finally looked at the YouTube and I was like, dang, she is really kicking me when I'm down. So Heavenly apologized to Scott for hurting him, and she started talking about their Scorpios and, they got that stinger, and she can relate a lot more to Scott than she can Contessa. So Contessa is like, you call him abusive. Well, honey, we were all wondering if he was that way because of the way you acted last season on that beach, holding your head down and running inside. Contessa. Now, I'm going to say this. I watched that interview you did with Funky Dineva. Shout out to Funky Dineva. You will talk in a circle and say absolutely nothing and try to confuse and gaslight the viewing public if you don't do nothing else. I got absolutely nothing out of that interview besides the fact that Quentin is a great interviewer. Other than that, I don't know what you were talking about. Okay? You will not accept responsibility for any of that. Scott, you remember things from last season, but Contessa seems to have selective amnesia. And I'm starting to feel like she's trying to bury it and suppress it. So if she pretends it didn't happen, then she won't get mad all over again and she won't want to divorce your ass all over again. That's what it's seeming like to me. So Andy reads a comment from a viewer saying something is different about Heavenly and Damon's relationship. And Damon said, I'm human. Okay, I don't say things a lot, but, I feel like Heavenly should have listened to me. And so Heavenly said, well, majority of the time I'm wrong, like 98% of the time. I try to push his buttons or whatever, but when he asks me, he rarely ever tells me to be quiet. So when he did, I should have just been quiet. So they asked Simone about it, and Simone says she thinks they have a normal marriage with normal problems, and she's upset that they got mad at her house. So Heavenly is like, well, girl, listen, you put us together too soon. So Simone was like, listen, looking back, I thought y'all were cool because we had just came from Vegas and everything was fine. So Heavenly is like, well, you knew we weren't in a good place because I told you. And I also told you about my mom. And I told you that it may not go well, so stop it if it doesn't. So why didn't you stop it? She's like, oh, well, I couldn't stop it. You definitely could have stopped it if you wanted to. But Simone, you like the mess. You're messy. Because after Heavenly and Damon walked out, you sat right at that table with Contessa and talked about Heavenly and agreed with everything that Contessa was saying about Dr. Damon, about how you make just as much money as him and this and that and the third. So Simone, I really don't want to hear it, honey. So Andy asked what advice Damon would have for the ladies. And he said, talk by yourselves, have a real conversation and get a real resolution. So Quad asked him, so what happens when you say something over and over and they still do it? So he's just looking. She said, do you have any idea what goes on in that closet? I know you don't go up there, but do you have any idea what goes on in the closet? Because she drags us. So Toya piped up, which I thought was commendable. And she's like, we all drag each other. I know that's right, honey, but which side are you on, Toya? Anything to go against Quad, though, so I understand. They always single out Heavenly, but Quad, you have been involved in every single segment of mess. Like you have literally had your hand in every pot. Every storyline goes back to Quad at the center of it. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to how you can just pinpoint Heavenly. It ain't making no sense to me. Moving forward. So Heavenly is like, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Okay, but address me. Okay, don't address my husband. Address me. Quad said, why? Because I done screwed your man. Heavenly said, bitch, don't try it. Don't say things like that because then people run around and start saying stuff like that. I'm like, I know that's right. Number one, Quad, okay, the reason you shouldn't be addressing Dr. Damon is you're not the host. You're the only single woman there and she asked you not to. She asked you not to. Number two, out of respect for her marriage, don't address her husband. That's it, point blank and a period. So they're going back and forth and back, honey. You know how they like to fuzz. So Heavenly asked her several times to please not address Damon. Heavenly don't want to get in trouble. That's what it is. Because she knows if Quad keeps talking, Dr. Damon is going to ask follow-up questions on the ride home. And honey, she ain't got time for that. So Andy is like, well, I want to hear Dr. Damon's perspective. Can I ask him? Heavenly said, no, you cannot. Damon said, I'm a man at the end of the day. I'm going to answer my own question. He said, if you want to ask me a question, I will be sure to answer it. So Andy asked about her doing things over and over and how it affects him. And he basically had his wife's back. He gave this whole big old speech, but at the end of the day, he had his wife's back. And he said, me and her, we gonna be together. We ain't going nowhere, neither one of us. So, I don't know what to tell you. So then the men leave the stage and we revisit Vegas and all the sex talk of the season. He asks Quad how many vibrators did she pack for the trip. Oh, baby, I could never. If that thing fall out at the airport at TSA, I would holler. Oh my gosh. I would melt into a puddle, honey. They would have to mop me the hell up for my flight. Oh, child, I wouldn't be no good. So then they talk about the pee thing. You know, Anila had a little pee, honey, which is normal with women who've had children, honey. It definitely is. I cannot hold it when I gotta go. You know, it's just amazing how kids change your body like that. A cough can make you pee your pants. I can't really just get into the laugh like I really want to get into the laugh because I might pee a little bit. So I understood Anila. We see each other. So Dr. Jackie said, you know, the O-Shot was originally designed to help with that. Anila, maybe your mom will let you get one now. If you spin it that way and tell her it's going to help with your incompetence, then, you know, maybe she'll say, okay, that's fine. So then Andy asked about Heavenly and the strip club and the ladies cheating because there was a game and all the ladies took a sip when they asked who has cheated on their spouse. Heavenly was like, the reason why I don't want Dr. Damon to go to a strip club is because men are visual creatures and they're more likely to have sex. But women, we can go to the strip club and I don't want nobody else but my man. I can kind of see that. But at the same time, if your man is all about you, he can bring that energy home to you. You know, it's like a little tease and then come home to you. So, I mean, I guess it just depends. So then we find out that Dr. Jackie gets pics from women of their man's peen trying to figure out if it's normal, like the little lesions or the bumps or this or that. Child, if I got to do all that, I don't want it. I do not want it, honey. But if we're married, we on our way to the doctor to get tested. The results will definitely determine the for better or for worse. Because if the results come out for worse, I'm out. So Andy asked Heavenly what she's hopeful for because now the reunion is coming to an end. She said, you know, I'm happy with my friendships. I really am. She said with Simone, we're in a much better place. She speaks highly of Toya, which helped me to understand Toya better. And if Toya is open to us men in our relationship, I want to get to a better place. So Contessa said, you know, only time will tell what will happen between her and Heavenly. Quad says she's feeling good about the group. With Toya, they just gonna have to figure it out and figure out if they want to be friends. But she feels like she was vindicated today. Anila apologizes to Toya about the rumor and she wants to move forward as friends because she said she didn't believe the rumor. Toya said the thing about her that she loves is that she can forgive easily, but it's hard for her to trust the women on the stage, especially when they say things like vindicated. So Quad was like, well, the only reason why I said vindicated is because people thought I slept with my married contractor, but the polygraph test shows that I didn't. Maybe not the polygraph test. Ooh, honey, Paula. So Dr. Jackie said, you know, I'm just glad to see that the Golden Girls are back together again. But are y'all? Because I don't think all three of y'all really like each other. But maybe that's just me. So Simone said, you know, they all need to drop the baggage. And if they forgive each other, then they need to truly let it go. So then they send the shirtless men on in to serve the ladies a little champagne, playing Scott's song in the background. Baby Toya was getting her whole life. Do y'all hear me? Baby Toya was cackling so loud. Oh my gosh. Here go Eugene. Toya. She ignored everything Eugene had to say. Like he wasn't even standing there. So Quad starts dancing with one of the guys, right? Here go Toya. Oh, the benefits of being single. All right. Y'all heard her. Okay. Because when they spin it, she gonna act like, no, I mean, I was just saying that, you know, one of the benefits is that you can dance in the rain. Okay, Toya. And that was the end of season 9. Excellent season, ladies. It was really, really good. Now, moving into next season, please let's leave the Heavenly and Contessa beef in the past. Heavenly, girl, don't say too much on that YouTube. Contessa, if you don't want to deal with Heavenly, just be cordial, say hi and bye. I don't want to hear all that fussing. Quad, I don't know if you're coming back next season. I'm a little bit on the fence because I just don't know, honey. It was a whole bunch of mess and it all stemmed back to you. And that's all I have for you. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about the season, part 3 of the reunion. One thing I can say is this. All three parts of the reunion were very, very entertaining. Child, I enjoyed myself, honey. I don't know about y'all, and I hope y'all stick around for my other reviews. Even though Married to Medicine is over, I have plenty of other things for you to choose from, and I also have playlists. So, honey, check it out. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.